Welcome to True Fear Files, where we uncover the darkest and most chilling true stories that the world tried to forget. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving into one of the most infamous unsolved cases in American history. A case about a killer so cunning, so arrogant, that he taunted police and the media for years. He sent cryptic letters. He created ciphers that took decades to solve, and he was never caught. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. Imagine receiving a letter in the mail. You open it, and inside is a coded message, a cipher filled with strange symbols. At the bottom it says, "If you don't publish this, I will go on a kill rampage and murder more people." That's exactly what newspapers in California received in 1969. The sender? A man who called himself Zodiac, and he meant every word. December 20th, 1968, Benicia, California. Two teenagers, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, were on their first date. They drove to a secluded spot near Lake Herman Road, a popular lover's lane. It was supposed to be a romantic evening, but someone was watching them. Around 11 p.m., a car pulled up behind them. A man got out, walked to their car, and without warning, opened fire. David was shot in the head. Betty Lou tried to run, but the killer chased her down and shot her 5 times in the back. She died instantly. The killer left no evidence, no witnesses, no motive. It was a cold, calculated execution, and it was just the beginning. 7 months later, on July 4th, 1969, another couple was attacked. Darlene Farron and Mike Mageau were sitting in a car in a parking lot in Vallejo, California. A car pulled up next to them. The driver got out, shined a flashlight in their faces, and started shooting. Darlene was killed. Mike survived, despite being shot multiple times. He described the attacker as a stocky man, around 5'8" with short brown hair, but he couldn't identify him. Hours after the attack, a man called the Vallejo Police Department. His voice was calm, almost robotic. He said, "I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye." Then he hung up. Police traced the call to a payphone, but by the time they arrived, the caller was gone. This was the first time the killer made contact, and it wouldn't be the last. On August 1st, 1969, 3 major newspapers in California received identical letters. Each letter contained a third of a cryptic cipher, 408 symbols in total. The letters were signed with a circle and a cross, forming the symbol of the Zodiac. The letter began, "Dear editor, I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman and the girl on the 4th of July. To prove this, I shall state some facts which only I and the police know." He then provided details only the killer would know. At the end of the letter, he demanded that the cipher be published on the front page of each newspaper. If they didn't comply, he threatened to go on a killing spree. The newspapers published the cipher, and the hunt for the Zodiac Killer began. A week later, a high school teacher named Donald Harden and his wife managed to crack the cipher. The message was chilling. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all. When I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and all the people I have killed will become my slaves." The cipher confirmed what police feared. They were dealing with a psychopath who killed for pleasure, and he wasn't going to stop. On September 27th, 1969, the Zodiac struck again. This time, his victims were Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, a young couple enjoying a picnic by Lake Berryessa. A man approached them wearing a black executioner-style hood with a white zodiac symbol on the chest. He was carrying a gun. He told them he was an escaped convict and just needed their car and money. Brian tried to stay calm, hoping the man would take what he wanted and leave. But then the man pulled out a knife. He tied them up and stabbed them repeatedly. Brian survived. Cecilia did not. Before leaving, the killer walked to their car and wrote on the door with a marker. He listed the dates of his previous attacks and drew his symbol. This time, he wanted credit. 2 weeks later, on October 11th, 1969, the Zodiac killed again. This time, his victim was a taxi driver named Paul Stein. Stein picked up a passenger in San Francisco. The passenger asked to be driven to a residential area. Once they arrived, the man shot Stein in the head, stole his wallet and a piece of his shirt, and walked away. Witnesses saw the killer leave the scene. They described him as a white male, around 35 to 45 years old, with reddish-brown hair and glasses. Police arrived within minutes and came close to catching him. But due to a communication error, officers were told to look for a black male suspect, not a white male. The Zodiac walked right past them. Days later, newspapers received another letter from Zodiac. Inside was a piece of Paul Stein's blood-stained shirt, proof that he was the killer. He mocked the police, writing, "School children make nice targets. I think I shall wipe out a school bus some morning. Just shoot out the tires and pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out." Over the next few years, the Zodiac sent more letters. Some contained more ciphers. Others included threats. He claimed to have killed 37 people, though police could only confirm 5 deaths and 2 survivors. One of his letters included a cipher known as the Z340. It remained unsolved for 51 years. In 2020, a team of code breakers finally cracked it. The message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. I now have enough slaves to work for me." Even in code, his arrogance was clear. Despite thousands of tips, multiple suspects, and decades of investigation, the Zodiac Killer was never caught. The last confirmed letter from Zodiac was received in 1974. After that, the letters stopped. Did he die? Was he arrested for another crime? Did he simply stop killing? No one knows. Several suspects have been investigated over the years. Arthur Lee Allen was considered the prime suspect for decades. He had a history of violence, lived in the area, and owned weapons similar to those used by Zodiac. But DNA evidence and fingerprints didn't match. Allen died in 1992, and the case remained unsolved. Other suspects include Richard Gaikowski, a journalist who lived in San Francisco, and Lawrence Kane, a man with a violent criminal history. But none of them were ever definitively linked to the crimes. In recent years, some amateur investigators have used genetic genealogy, the same technique used to catch the Golden State Killer, to try to identify Zodiac. But so far, no confirmed match has been made. Why did the Zodiac Killer stop? And who was he? Theories abound. Theory 1, he died or was imprisoned for another crime. Some believe Zodiac was arrested or killed before he could continue his rampage. This would explain why the letters stopped. Theory 2, he moved away. Perhaps he left California and started a new life, never killing again. Or maybe he did kill again, but in a different way that didn't draw attention. Theory 3. He got what he wanted. The Zodiac craved attention. He wanted to be feared and remembered. Once the media attention died down, maybe he lost interest. Theory 4. He's still out there. The darkest theory is that Zodiac is alive, living a normal life, and has never been caught. That the man who terrorized California in the late 1960s is walking free. To this day, the Zodiac Killer case remains open. The San Francisco Police Department still receives tips, and investigators continue to analyze evidence using modern technology. But after more than 50 years, the chances of solving the case grow slimmer with each passing day. The Zodiac Killer was never just a murderer. He was a showman, a game player. He turned his crimes into puzzles, daring the world to catch him, and he won. 5 confirmed victims, 2 survivors, dozens of terrifying letters, and a mystery that has captivated true crime enthusiasts for over half a century. Who was the Zodiac Killer? Was it Arthur Lee Allen, an unknown drifter? Someone who has been hiding in plain sight all along? We may never know. But one thing is certain. Somewhere, buried in the thousands of pages of evidence, might be the clue that finally solves the case. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more chilling true crime stories like this. And let me know in the comments, who do you think the Zodiac Killer was? Until next time, stay safe. And remember, some killers are never caught.